Okay.
Good morning, everyone, or evening, or afternoon, depending on where you are. We're gonna wait here for about a minute or two while everybody is joining, and then we will get started with Ask NX Anything. What's the weather like in Taiwan, guys?
It's good, but it's the typhoon season, so sometimes it's quite sunny, sometimes it's rain a lot with a strong wind. Yeah, but
What is
anyway, it's
the
good.
difference, Andy, between a typhoon and a hurricane?
Typhoon. I think typhoon is like a more long distance. Yeah, hurricane
No,
just a little one, right?
I'll tell you what the difference between a typhoon and a hurricane is. You ready?
Oh, okay. We have no hurricane here. Yeah.
In the North Atlantic, North Pacific, and Eastern North Pacific, the term hurricane is used, and everywhere else it's called typhoon.
So basically, it's the same, the location is different, right?
Yep, just different locations, same exact storm. So
Oh, is it?
learn something new every day. Yeah. So we have
I thought hurricane is on the land and
no,
typhoon is on the sea.
no, hurricanes are driven by the ocean and the warm water of the ocean. That's where they get their energy from. So, all right, enough talk about the weather. So. We're ready to get started. Welcome everybody to the Ask NX Anything webinar. We're going to do these about once a month. This is the first one we're doing, I think, in the Asia Pacific region. So I'm here with Jason Lee from our Taipei team and Andy Wen as well from Taipei. And our CTO and co-founder, Sergey Bistrov, is on the line as well. And I'm Tony Luce, the marketing director. So the way this is going to work is there's a Q&A in your Zoom little window. If you open up the Q&A, you can ask questions there. You can ask questions on chat. You can even raise your hand and we can try audio if you have an audio input or a mic on your device that you're using to attend the webinar. So the floor is open. One thing to add, if you do want to ask a question in Chinese, that is also okay, and we will take those questions and do a little translation and then answer you if you'd like to do that. So let's get started. Any questions out there for us about anything? In the meantime, Jason, you have a list of questions from some people who weren't able to attend. Do you want to read one first?
Sure, of course. I think like we just released 4.1. I think one of the questions I've been asked very often is the object tab on the notification panel. So apparently now there are more and more AI and we can search for those metadata right away. So many partners are curious about like how can we and how do we like use multiple keywords to search for specific media.
Sergey, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so like, to be honest, we are going to redesign. We're going to redesign right panel to make it much more friendly for object search. And it's coming in 4.2. So like, it will be right. So like, we released it and we have some couple feedback coming in, which like it's hard to do things like that when you have like I would like this attribute to be equal this attribute to be, so like it's hard to do it all by just typing. So for that reason we completely redesigned the right panel. And I don't know if we have chance on this webinar to like, I don't know, to show the mockups. Can we? Because like I can, I guess. Like
you have mockups you want to show?
I can give me a second, and I will. Maybe we can like come back to this question.
Why don't you open up? And while you're opening up, I'll just add to what Sergey said. Right. So we introduced the metadata SDK and the objects tab in what 4.0, right? And basically, when we introduce the SDK, it takes a lot of partners. It takes them some time to get on board with integrations, for us to educate them about how the SDK works, for them to play with and learn about our system, and then to do the development. And so part of that process is really iterative. So when we roll out a feature, especially a major new feature like the objects tab on the notifications panel, then we have to kind of guess at what the UX is going to be like, right? And we don't really know what the challenges are of that until we see it, in use in the real world, in the wild, with those integrations, with all the different types of AI and deep learning video analytics that are coming out right now. There's a lot of variation there. And so we've learned a lot over the last, year and a half, working with these companies like Neurovision and Vision Labs and Innovatrix and our partners in Asia, even like Iron, about what are the types of things that they need to be able to do in that panel. And so I think Sergey and the guys have been working hard on optimizing that panel. And that's what you'll see every time we introduce a big feature like that. Yeah.
Tony, I have a link for the mockup. How do we proceed with this? Should I throw it in the chat, or like do I share my screen? How like?
Yeah, you can share your screen. You just push share screen.
All right. Never did it before, so I'm nervous a little bit.
So CTO, everybody.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine this to be the right panel, right, in 4.2 version. So like, let's say there is analytics on the camera, and you can select this, and this camera can detect like car, motorcycle, truck, person, and others. So like you have to click on like any object you would like to find. This is how it's going to look like instead of how it looks now, right?
This is one of the mock-ups, right?
Yeah. So basically, you can select a specific object, right? So after that, you can select, for example, I selected the car, right? So like after that, if analytics give us the specific attributes, you can, for example, if it gives you color, you can like quickly click on a color, right? Or you can like click on a class, or like you can select the range of the speed, stuff like this, right? And we extended the right panel, so it's going to be wide, and you will have a lot of space for results, if it makes sense, right?
Like you can drag it out, you mean, to make it wider.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also there is like, I'm not sure if you see my mouse or not, so there are a couple of options for representations of the tiles right here. So like one of them removes this text from here, and it's like even more results will fit into it, right? So that's the general idea of how the right panel will look like in 4.2.
Yeah, so this is like, these are like common attributes and from a developer's perspective, right? This is like, these are common kind of UI elements that any one of the plugins would be able to take advantage of, right?
Yeah, so it works like this. The plugin itself says that I can detect such type of objects, right? After that, each type of object has such attributes. Yeah. So the plugin has a little manifest, and based on that manifest, the UI is automatically built.
So kind of like the way it works right now with like context menus, context actions on the notifications panel for metadata SDK developers. Yeah. So basically, these are like kind of like building blocks for like how you could show attributes of objects that are detected, right?
Yep.
And they're different for each plugin based off of what that plugin can do.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right. So that was a long answer to the first question.
All right. So like, sorry about like in 4.1, it's not like that, but we are working to improve it. So I'm not sure if it's worth talking about like much how it works in 4.1, since in 4.2 it will be like very different.
No, it's in 4.1. It's really simple. It's basically the objects and the associated metadata tags that have been sent over from the plugin itself. So if you have face recognition that's able to do age and gender and the person's identity, it'll show you all those attributes, right? But if you have it so that it just does confirmation, then it'll just show you their identity, right? So it's a lot simpler. That's cool. All right. Any other questions out there? Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, what? No, hand went down. Thought I saw one come up. Was it Punky?
Can I ask a question for customers
Yeah.
who cannot join us? Yeah. I thought this is a Q question. NS Winners is one of the most fancy VMS he has been used, and he asked us that how can we solve the UX problem? I mean the user experience problem, because all VMS he used is more like engineer style, but ours is more user friendly. How can we do that?
Well, there's a bit of history behind that question, right?
Okay.
So, Sergey, I mean, you made the very first version of the product was the Eve Media Player, right?
Right.
And you developed that with Vanya, Ivan Vagasin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys, how did you choose the floating kind of approach to the cameras at the beginning?
I have no idea.
I think it was Vanya. I think it was Ivan. So basically, Ivan told me a story. He said basically the kind of floating tile thing came for free with the framework that we were originally using, right? And it was a really simple thing to implement for him. And he thought, and Sergey, you were originally trying to create it so that it was just easier to kind of manage video and stretch it and create your own kind of.
Yeah. So basically, we like back in the day, we were like, which UX framework do we use, and we were like going through like choosing multiple ones. So it started back in 2009, I believe. So back when it was not like that much options, and we end up finding the framework which naturally gives you what you see today. So I'm sort of surprised that other players don't do the same. So like no much magic.
The other part of it, right, is that there is a lot of, for lack of a better word, there's a lot of arguments about the UX on our team, right? We take it very seriously. There's a lot of competitive discussions that go on about like I want it to be this way, I don't want it to be this way, and our UX designers, they do a lot of mock-ups, right? And they change a lot of things over time, and even after that we put out like alphas and betas of the system, they still will go in and modify it based off feedback from our internal team and from our sales team and from our partners who use the betas, right? So it's a really collaborative process, and it's not always friendly and it's not always fun, but at the end of the day, it's because everybody on our team is really passionate about keeping the product simple to use, and not developing a product that becomes really difficult and over engineered and complex to use, right? So, if you look at the way we did the analytics integration we were just talking about, it's the same for everyone that does an integration with us. And that really simplifies the UX process. And also it keeps the products more stable, right? Because we're doing, we're taking a more structured approach to developing it. So Sergey, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
Yeah, we are just passionate. We are very passionate to do like good UX things. That's it.
Yeah, it's just simple is the key mantra for the company and everything. Simple, simple, simple. Even if it means, we may not have like the latest, biggest, greatest feature that's out there, right? But we will figure out a way to take the most useful part of that feature and get it into the software, so that people can get the value from it, right? But in a structured way so that it's simple and you don't have to relearn the software every release like you do some software packages out there. So.
Okay. and I actually one more question from the same guy. He used our software from like a 2.3, and he noticed that we have a feature that we can choose the white base background or the black base background. But now we remove the white one, right? Yeah. Why we designed to do that?
Why did we decide to remove the white one?
Yes, and even the what's that? The rainbow one, right?
So
we can choose.
we're an environmentally conscious company, and white color uses more energy. I'm kidding. Let's not be like. The real answer is it's simpler to develop one product, right? And it's a lot less work to maintain multiple skins. And we like dark better. Did I miss anything, Sergey?
You know, like we were trying to maintain white one for a while, but you know it's hard to maintain two color schemes. You know, you're focused on make everything perfect, and you make everything perfect on a black one, and suddenly you discover that things don't fit that nicely in a white one. So like it was a lot of compromising back and forth, and like eventually we decided to terminate the white one. To answer the question, why did we remove like the moving blue objects? You know, it's I also like them, and I still like them. So like
I am the reason. I am the reason the blue thing went away. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so, Tony. Yeah.
Only me. Like everybody can blame me because I did not like it, and I argued with Sergey really hard about it.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why. It's because I did not like it. Honestly, the blue thing it made the software look older. There's a design concepts called skeuomorphism, right? So you remember when the iPhone launched and it was always like a clock looked like a real clock, right? That's called skeuomorphism, okay? And that was like an early design trend in the late 2000s and somethings, right? And then in 2012 or so forward, everything started going flat. So flat design, right? So that's Google Material Design and Apple's new design format. And then Microsoft as well has a whole design language now, and it's all flat, it's all digital, because everything transitioned from, you know, real world objects like a phone that actually had buttons on it, like a BlackBerry, to touchscreen, right? So we just had to transition with the style, and the modern style is flat, right? So
yeah, actually that guy is a MX fan, so his own explanation is okay. I think it's about user experience as well, because some design of NX winners is not good in white background or something. And I said, yeah, it's true.
yeah, video just looks better on a dark background and without the blue behind it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other questions out there from the attendees? It's a quiet group.
Yeah, guys, take it easy. If you want to ask in Chinese, yeah, we can do also.
Here's a from Alencio de Souza. How do we collect data from VCA devices and store it for a long period of use in data analysis? I don't know the last word. So when you say VCA, Alencio, do you mean like the brand VCA, or do you just mean VCA as in like video, computer vision, you know, video content analysis devices? Because there's a brand called VCA that we work with, right? So I just want to make sure.
Tony, I would bet it would be it means analytics in general.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, Sergey, you want to try and answer that question?
I'm not sure I understand the question. VCA video content. Okay. VCA. So like, so how do we so like the data? So there is a video track, there is audio track, and there is a video like
Metadata.
metadata object track, right? So like that metadata is decomposed to the objects and saved in a database.
But I think he's just asking, is there a way to get reports from the data that's being collected? Like either programmatically, like via the API, or do we have plans for, keeping the metadata separate from the video so that you can still have reports on the metadata, but not necessarily related to the video anymore? The video may be gone.
So right now it's metadata is correct. So like, Tony, can you reiterate the question? Like, I'm not sure.
So Sergey, right now we have cameras that are, okay, so let's say I go and I do people detection, right? And I want to just detect the number of people and what they're wearing and how fast they're moving and everything like that going through a lobby in a hotel, right? Because I want to be able to determine how many, maybe I'm going to build a new hotel and I want to see how many elevators I need to build or something, who knows, right? So I want to collect that. Let's say I want to collect a year's worth of data on the people flow in the hotel, but I only want to keep it in metadata format. I don't want the video that's associated with it. Like, how could they do that right now?
Okay, I see. And like, if that's the question, I see. I understand.
Yeah, for a smart city, he said for a smart city environment, it would be like years worth of data, right?
Yeah, I see.
Big Brother. Alencio wants us to build Big Brother.
Yeah, good question. So like right now the database we have, it's like, I believe we delete the objects as soon as like we erase the archive for those objects. So this is how it works right now. So basically what I mean, it's impossible to get if your archive is only 1 month old, or like if your archive has just 1 month of retention, you cannot get metadata which was dated like a year ago.
Yeah.
It's because we erase it. But
right now there is no way. Right now the metadata storage is exactly the same as like the events and the bookmarks and that sort of stuff, right? It disappears with the video.
Yeah,
right?
But we like I guess we can simply like make it so that it stays forever. You will just have to use a big big storage for database, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we never thought of this actually, but
No,
we easily cannot erase the data. Sure.
So Alencio, I know I was kidding about the Big Brother thing. Analytics helps you predict all sorts of stuff, right? With AI right now in predictive data sets and the ability to look at anomalous data and all that kind of good stuff. There's a ton of value in the metadata that video is generating. I just was recording a conference that we're doing with Seagate about this, right? So I hear what you're saying, but I think this is honestly, I think this is a couple years off for us, because right now those third-party companies that do AI analytics, and they have very targeted kind of usage scenarios, and they would be the best people to gather and collate and report on that data. We don't. If you notice in our system, we were more focused on the surveillance aspect of it still, which means you see the object, you can find and search the object, and you can create rules to automate system reactions based off of that object. But we're not focused on the reporting aspect yet, right? I think that's a couple of years off, and when it does come, it's going to come in the form of like a cloud interface, like a web reporting engine.
Tony, I very much agree with you.
Yeah. It is sad, Alencio, but it is also just a matter of like time, because a lot of these really cool analytics systems that are here now may not be here in a couple of years because of competition and all that kind of good stuff, right? So it's just the reality, and that's why we're creating a common way for them to interface with us and interact with us, is because the metadata SDK it just allows companies to do plugins really quickly. So you'll see that once we have more of a stable ecosystem, I think you'll see that type of collated data and everything, like I said, up in the cloud for reporting purposes. So it'll probably be some form of like centralized service that we offer, right? Also, okay, so Samuel had some questions. Failover videos will stay in the failover server. Is there any plan to move failover videos to its original recorder? Sergey?
No, we don't have such plans. So like video stays on a failover server and it's transparent to the user where does it stay. So like we don't feel there's much need to move it. And besides, it's very hard to move the data from one server to another. I mean, like things can go wrong, right?
That's
like
what I was gonna say. Like moving it requires more energy, like on the machine itself, right? And you're introducing more entropy into the whole system. So there's not much value in putting it back where it is. One of the big things with our software, one of the biggest advantages is that when you, let's say you do have a failover event, you can even fail over down to like, SD cards from Western Digital with a WD Purple drive, right? I mean, like you could fail over to the smallest storage device, and our system always indexes where that storage is, and you never have to worry about it, and it's completely seamless to the customer. So.
And by the way, actually, some of our partners they had that kind of a behavior to move the archive because that action actually occupied a lot of I/O performance, so they had it actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samuel also had another question, just following up on that one, was the recorded videos are not encrypted. Is there any plan to encrypt the record? That's a great question, Samuel, and I know Sergey wants to answer it.
Absolutely, it's coming in for the 2. Yeah, archive encryption. So like to give you more information, so like we are also so we think to introduce a cloud storage, all right, and we realized that it's not worth introducing without archive encryption, and so we do archive encryption at least for the sake of cloud storage, but it comes for free for local storage as well, development wise, right? So like we are going to introduce archive encryption for any storage, cloud or local, in 4.2. And it's going to be done in such a way, it's going to be very secured. It's going to be on-site encryption, meaning that media server will encrypt the video, and it will be encrypted with the key or password given by the user. So
right.
Like the user will enter the password, and with that password, the archive will be encrypted, and yeah, this is how we see it. So like, for example, if archive is stolen by some reason, nobody can watch it.
Yep, it's going to be a cool feature, and it's a whole nother level of security, especially because you can do it on any drive type, right? You don't need to have some expensive drives or anything like that to do the encryption.
Yeah, it's all the same.
All right. Does Polly had a question? Do we have a plan to make camera replacement easier?
Oh yeah. So that question comes. Yeah, that question comes a lot, especially recently. I'm not sure why. Like,
yeah,
I feel like it's a wave of like such questions, because right now we understand it's nightmare to like swap the cameras, to change one camera with another. So like we are literally brainstorming today about if we can add it into 4.2. We likely will. So there are 2 options I can see. Option number 1, we add it in 4.2. Option number 2, we come up with sort of not
a script or something.
with very little, like, I don't know, yeah, with script which will make it for you, but it's not like elegant from end users.
Yeah, no, but like an intermediate little.
Yes, some intermediates, but I do hope we can introduce a real one in 4.2. So like it's this question is coming along. So like our customers is our memory, and they do not let us to forget about this. That you are missing camera replacement big time. We know it, and we are trying to squeeze it in 4.2.
Does NX plan to add some general analytics like line crossing, human detection, and NX witness? I'll answer that one. So motion detection, smart motion detection, right? That wasn't a standard feature for a long time in cameras and BMSs, right? When it becomes universally useful and from a computing standpoint, economically, easy, then at that point in time, I'm imagining that we will have some basic analytics like human detection and line crossing and that sort of stuff, right? But right now, most of that value lives, and increasingly it lives in the camera itself, right? And so we're about to put out a patch right now for 4.1, which has a lot of new analytics, new brands of cameras with analytics that are supported via the metadata SDK, right, Sergey? So like the analytics events. So that's really where we're going to focus on is connecting to those analytics more quickly in the short term. And then I think, far off in the horizon, sure, there'll be something like that that will eventually be added to the VMS when it becomes, an expected feature of a VMS. Whereas right now it's still a valuable, addable feature that requires a significant compute hardware and investment to get up and running, right? So, Sergey, what do you think?
And also, like we are hiring a guy right now. We are in interviewing process. We are hiring a guy whose first task would be to make the analytics for generic cameras. So like you can like assign, you can say like run this analytic plugin on this camera, and this is like any camera basically, right? And that plugin will likely be using AWS to like from a hardware standpoint of view to detect people, for example.
Yeah, so there's that one. David too asked a developer question. I think that's a very specific developer question.
By the way, I do not see like where do I? Yeah, okay, I see.
On the Q&A, David too said about generic event query parameters, placeholder syntax, dash, bracket, event.sort. Yeah, David, this question, there's a really good place to ask this question, and that is the developer forum on the support portal. So,
yeah, David, yeah, everything. Tony, you're going in the right direction. Absolutely, yeah. So
go here, go to community, and then go to developer forum, and then copy and paste that into the developer forum with a new post. And our developers will get back to you on that. Right? Did you want to say anything about it right now, Sergey?
No, that's exactly right.
Let me post the link there for you, David. All right. Any other questions? Andy, Jason?
I think there's a question from Adrian about do NS has any partner do tracking container number recognitions? And yes, there are. I think as far as I know, there are two. They're doing
I think there are many.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the camera manufacturers do OCR and things like that as well. Vivotech, didn't we do one with Vivotech where they had the OCR? Was it Vivotech?
They do CarPlay recognition. Yeah, they do CarPlay, but I don't think they do container ID.
Oh, who was we did a Works with an X not too long ago.
Yeah, Baxter, they do container ID.
Thank you, Backstore. Yeah, Baxter does container ID. So, do you want to pull that up, Jason? Are you on your computer?
Yes, I am. Hold on.
I can do it. I got it up and running if you're not ready. There you go. So Backstore here. And they're integrated with us, right? So,
right.
You know what? You guys are all on the call right now, so I'm going to tell you a secret. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys a secret. So this just launched today, and we haven't said anything publicly about it yet. But since you guys are on the webinar, then if you go to Cloud now and you log in, and then you see down here integrations with a beta sign, the beta store for this is our integrations marketplace, and it's built in the cloud. So when you're logged into your cloud, you can now go and check and see some of the integrations that are out there, and Backstore is right here, right? So in this the integrations marketplace, you go into an integration, right? You can see how it works. There's an explanation of how it works. There's screenshots, right? And then under the setup guide, you can find out how to set it up and how to get it running. And if you wanted to contact the partner, you just press the get in touch button, and then it'll email that partner. You can see their email address right here, and then they can get back to you in terms of what you need to buy or what you need to set up in terms of hardware and that sort of stuff. But over here we have supported platforms and additional requirements. So each one of the integrations in the integrations marketplace has all that documentation here in one spot. So if you're looking for something like face recognition, right, then you can go in here and find a face recognition solution, or lots of things. We even have tools like Test Camera, which is an experimental application that allows you to fake a camera if you need to test some hardware, that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of different integrations in here. Go check it out. All right. Next question. Jason, you want to ask another one off your list?
Sure, of course. Yeah, like at our camera rule setup, there are more and more inputs and more actions are available right now. So some partners are asking, do we planning on, for example, we can set up a single event that can trigger a series of actions at the same time, so that we don't need to do like one event versus one actions, and there's a lot of configuration. For example, a soft trigger can make a bookmark, call up something, and send an HTTP request.
Right now we have if this, then that, right? And then what you're asking for is if this, do that, and that, and that, right?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Are you also saying if this and this, do that?
That's actually acts as well. Like for example, access card is requested and the face has to be requested as well. And then you trigger the DO on the cameras. So
yeah, so it's just more complex logic in the rules engine. So Sergey, maybe you want to answer this one. Did we lose Sergey? Oh, we lost.
I think so.
All right, maybe he got knocked off. There's a lot of fires in California, you know.
Come on, Tony.
I know for a fact that yes, we are working on this, and we're not just doing like if this and that, do that. Our guys have been working on this for a while, and they have. Oh, Sergey's back. So let me give him a second to connect. Hey, Sergey.
Yeah, guys, sorry, something happened to.
Oh, no worries. So the question right now is if this and if can we do a more complex rules engine so you can have two actions, two events trigger an action, or one event trigger multiple actions, right?
Yeah, it's in follow free. So like we
I was answering it. So I know for a fact that these guys have been working on it for a long time, and that it's gonna be really cool in the way that it's implemented, because it's more like a visual programming and less like, you know, check boxes and stuff like it is now. It's going to be much more, the UX is going to be much nicer than it is right now. So go ahead, Sergey.
Yeah, so like we are also redesigning the event actions big time, but it's like very big one, and likely it's not going to make its way into 4.2, but in 4.3 it will be completely redesigned events which will have such features as like multiple actions to one event and or logic between events and actions. Also, it will be like you can pass parameters from events to actions. You will have lists. So if parameter value belongs to the list, something happens. So for example, like if license plate belongs to the list, something happens. Or if license plate does not belong to the list, something else happens. So like we are redesigning event rules, but I don't think it's going to be in 4.2 because we have to like.
Well, we don't even know the number of the release after the next release, right?
Yeah, true. So like
it will be late next year or early the following year, right?
Yep.
So late 2021, early 2022, but it'll be really cool, right? In the short term, one thing that you guys may not know is that you can do one event triggering multiple actions right now, but you have to do it using the do HTTP request action, right? Because then you could do an API call back to the system, which tells it to do these multiple things, as opposed to, you can't do it. You can do it right now. It's just a little bit more complex. So, if you want to, if you have a customer with a need that just has to be met, right? And there's no getting around it, then talk to Jason and Andy and these guys and our developers, and they'll probably give you a script that'll help you do the action you want, right? Or the multiple action thing you want to do. So, Ting Yu Chang. All right, let's. We got a question coming in. Let's try it. Hello.
Hello, this is Ting Yu from Innovatrix, and I believe you guys just have a webinar with us. And as a FR vendors, the face recognition vendors, we are curious about the strategy for NX and how like a third-party video analytics vendors to work with you in different regions. This is my first question. And secondly,
let's answer one question at a time. So
okay, sure.
How do we work with vendors in different regions?
Yes.
We're really simple to work with, Ting Yu. So if you want to do marketing, you just email me.
Okay.
And we'll handle the marketing across our entire channel, all from our headquarters. So it's pretty simple.
Okay, so is there anything like from as a vendors that we should improve, no matter from sales point of view or even marketing?
That you need to get approved? Is that what you said?
No, improve. Yes.
Oh, improve. Oh, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay. Okay. So my second question will be the integrations. And since you mentioned that probably you will create kind of a platform to receive the video analytics result or like a metadata from the edge camera, let's say, or any kind of edge video analytics. And as a algorithm or FR solutions provider, what's your let's say suggestions if we should move our server-based solutions and become a kind of a cooperation with the camera vendors and put the SDK into the SOC?
I don't have any specific suggestions, Sergey. I mean, the
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So he's basically saying, do we have any advice on whether or not they should move from server-side video analytics to in-camera analytics approach, like on the camera itself, right? Because Innovatrix right now, you guys do everything server-side, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I think it's gonna be beneficial for you guys, because I think a lot of the camera manufacturers, the higher level camera manufacturers, they're actually putting together their own little ecosystems and their own development tools and SDKs to allow companies like you to develop for their devices. Personally, I would say, be judicious in which brands you choose to work with, right? Because some of the brands are really consistent in the quality and of the SDKs and the hardware that they put out there, and some of the brands aren't. So it's really up to you guys to decide which partners you would like to work with. But I think that I think that the market as a whole will be moving in that direction, right, over the next 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years. I think that the devices, I think edge devices themselves are going to become a lot more intelligent. And I think that, you know, we have some partners even that have our server applications running on their cameras, right? Like the whole thing. So I think that that is a trend, and it will continue as computing hardware gets cheaper and AI friendly, you know, camera hardware becomes more commonplace. So I think that, yeah, it's a good idea to look in that direction.
Okay, understand. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
Anybody else? We have 15 minutes left. Jason. Mr. Lee.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah. Yeah, it happens. So like in 4.1, we released a function called camera web page, which allows clients to go through NX Cloud layer to access to the camera web page in the local network. So do we have plans to do this to access to a web page via NX Cloud? It's not only works for the camera web page, but also work for third-party web applications.
I don't know what that means, Jason. Can you try and like? I mean, what do you
I guess I understand. Let me. So basically, there is some web application which is hosted next to media server, right? In a local network with a media server, and the client machine does not have access to it.
Yes. This one has local server connections.
So it's like camera, but not camera, basically.
That would be cool. So basically, you want to be able to proxy other web page. Like, so let's say if I add a web page to my system,
a resource panel, yeah.
You would want it to be in the server, and then that way it could be proxied via the server.
Yeah, via the NX server. Like Sergey said, it's not a camera, but we access to the page like the way we access to camera web page.
It could be any web page.
It could be any web page. Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I think that's cool. It's a brilliant idea. We never thought about it before. But it's like super easy for us to do.
Yeah. That is a fantastic idea. Who asked that question?
It's from our partners in Singapore. Yeah.
Kinetics?
Yeah, Kinetics. Yeah.
That is cool. I think we did talk about it, Sergey, when we first put web pages into the client, but we decided they were client side or something, and that it wouldn't be doable at the time. It was just it was years ago when we talked about it. I remember talking about it.
Yeah. So, but basically, right now, so there is a web page and a resource tree, and you can say like, I would like this to be proxied through this server, something like this, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Kind of settings.
You could also just put the web pages under the server itself, so that the web page shows up underneath the server. So
yeah, but this way, I don't know, is it going to be more complete? Yeah, well, there are a couple of options, maybe that one also, as you mentioned, like one or another, right? Yeah, but like it is, I think it's like super great idea as long as there are no issues with authentication. And what I mean by that,
remembering credentials.
No, it's remembering credentials, and some web pages or some web services we like to show pop-up. So we use non-standard digest. We do not use its details anyway. So like it's a good idea, and
it's worth a shot.
It sounds like we are here already. We are there. So like it's very easy for us to do such.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Add that to 4.2, Sergey.
No, it could be sooner. It could be sooner. Like it could be in a month. It's so easy to do it. It could be in a monthly patch.
All right, October monthly patch it is. All right, next question. Oh, just so you guys know, we have a monthly patch that comes out. If you don't know that, So every month there's a new patch that comes out, and most of the time it just has to do with bugs and improvements, but it also includes a lot of new devices a lot. And every once in a while, like this monthly patch, we sneak in some new features. So, all right, next question, Andy.
Yeah, I actually have asked a question, but 2020 is our Nova Optics 10 years anniversary, right? And because it's a COVID-19 issue here, so we have no any like ceremony or celebrate about our 10th year anniversary. And will we do that next year or something? Will we have something to celebrate our 10 years anniversary?
Well, the NX Witness product was launched in 2013.
Yep.
So let's say 2023.
Okay, I see.
You know, actually, we should probably celebrate like, yeah, that's good. Maybe 2011. Maybe we'll do 2021. Because the company was officially founded in 2010, but you guys didn't start working on it until 2011, right?
No, we were working starting 2009, but officially it was established in 2010, August 11 or so. So it's actually started earlier, but was established officially in August of 10.
I guess it was August 2010, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw it at IS. I saw the original idea at ISC West in 2010, which is in March or April. So, yeah.
No, I think the first time we demonstrated something, it was 11 on ISC West. I might be wrong, but...
No, that was the first year you guys had a booth at ISC West, but I'm talking about the original pitch meeting type thing. But anyways, yeah. So no, Andy, no plans for a giant celebration this year because of COVID and that.
Yes, yeah. You know, he just asked, hey guys, don't you celebrate your 10 years anniversary? And I said, I don't know.
Well, here's a feature. Here's a question. Why don't we ask you guys a question? Sergey, do you want to ask everybody a question? See what their answers are?
Okay. I'm not sure how do we collect the answers.
On chat.
Like,
everybody just put it in chat. Put your answer.
So I assume we have some like good portion of integrators in the audience. Is it fair to assume so?
I don't know.
So the question would be, are your customers concerned about you having access to their video? How frequent are they are they like, you set up video system for them, like, do they have concerns of so the SI does not have access to their video, and how big is that concern?
Here's a better way to ask that question, right? How many of you have access to your customers' video systems after you set them up for them, or after they purchase them? Just say, let's say I do, or something like that in the chat, or just put a +1 or something in the chat if you have access to your customer system after you set it up for them.
Have you tried it, or how frequently they do?
No, just Andy, just the general question is, do you have access to your customers' video systems after you set them up, right? Do they keep you on as an administrator or as a remote? Are you able to log in remotely, or are you hands off from that point? Unless they call you.
With the customer's approval or not?
Right. Like, so for example, if you set up the system, do you put yourself as the cloud, and you connect to the cloud, do you put yourself as the cloud owner, or do you create the owner for the customer and then you're an administrator, or do you have no role at all?
I see. I see.
Yeah, no. One answer is no. We do not have access after handing over the system, and the next one is not for us. No access. Anybody
Okay.
else?
Let me translate to Chinese for
Yeah.
some guys. OK，你们在装完客人的那个 VMS 之后，你们会不会还留着那个权限让你们自己可以连线？不管是有没有上 public IP，还是你在 local 的，就是你还留有你可以进去的权限，有没有人会这样做？帮我留言在那个 chat 上面，有或没有？
Yeah, I think the vast majority of people, Sergey, and Jason and Andy, correct me if I'm wrong. The vast majority of integrators, they go in and they install the system. They do what's called a handover. They say, here's the administration logins. Here's everything in this folder with all the architectural diagrams and everything like that, right? And here's our phone number. Here's my business card. Call me if you got a problem. And that's pretty much it, right? What do you think, Andy, Jason?
I think that's pretty much the case. And then the admin depends on their organization. They'll need to change the password kindly accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the size of the company too, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
If it's a big multinational corporation, basically you're never seeing that. You're never going to be able to access that system ever again unless they want you to, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a business owner, maybe.
Actually, I can reply for some customers. For some cases, the end user is not really good enough to handle the system, right? So the SI always, actually the SI that know I have the permission, but since your site is not on the internet, right? So if you need me to support you to manage your system, just let me know, and I can come here to log in to help you to manage your system, something like that.
For a system.
Mostly like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you very much.
Does NX have any solution to anticipate COVID prevention? Yes, we do. Adrian asked the question. So we have a couple different webinars we did with partners that had COVID prevention, and most of them are face detection and people detection driven, because the people detection does the limited number of people inside the building, right? So Centurion Solutions is one of them that does the COVID distance detection. I think Innovatrix does as well, and NeuroVision does as well. And those both have Innovatrix's Smart Face is their face detection system, and they do the distance detection, and then NeuroVision also does it, and NeuroVision also does temperature. And then I think there are a lot of camera manufacturers now that do the thermal cameras with the ability to detect elevated temperatures. Jason, Andy, am I forgetting any?
A lot of camera based right now. Like Hanwha also have a plugin for their X series to do mass detection.
Yeah, mass detection. There's a lot of solutions out there. Again, I showed you guys that cool integrations marketplace. If you go look in there, we're also planning on putting out an article pretty soon about that on our webpage that will highlight some of the solutions that exist in our channel for you guys.
I personally know like one very straightforward. Jason just mentioned it's Hanwha X cameras do mass detection analytics, and we support it. But we support it starting with the patch which is coming out
Tomorrow.
I should have, like, I believe it should, like, probably today, maybe tomorrow. With like, I'm not sure where it's coming out, but like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Hanwha X series with 4.1 patch, which is coming today or tomorrow.
Yeah, but it depends on what you need. If you just need mass detection, that's great, right? But if you're looking at like thermal, like elevated temperature, NeuroVision does one really cool where they track you around, and they basically they establish a baseline temperature, and then if you have an abnormally high temperature for a higher duration, then they'll flag you. And then they also do the social distancing detection. Centurion does social distancing detection. Innovatrix as well. Like I said, mask and that. I think maybe Vision Labs does masks as well. So there's quite a few of them out there. We got 1 more minute. Jason, Andy, any more questions from you guys?
Yeah, and actually, yeah.
No, my question is silly. You first.
Mine is about okay. And so it's also asked by partners. Like we have really cool digital zoom functions. Like we can create different cropping areas to zoom in on high resolution camera. However, when we are adjusting the zoom ratio, there is a specific ratio, right? So do we plan on like partner can decide they want to zoom in horizontally or they want to zoom in vertically? Depends on how they locate the camera.
You mean draw the zoom window with a different aspect ratio?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Sergey?
Short answer is no, we didn't plan it. But like I'll gladly like if like we can consider doing this. It sounds like easy to do if.
Well, you could flip the aspect ratio sideways, right, and still have the same aspect ratio.
So right now, I assume if you rotate the camera and draw the zoom box, it will keep the original aspect ratio regardless of the camera rotation. I guess.
Let me see. I can try. Hey, I got a bug, Sergey. I'm about to send it to you. It's pretty weird. All the icons are disappearing, but you know, it's because we're on a call. If we weren't on a call. Okay, so if you rotate it, it does do that.
You mean rotate it? Okay, rotate it.
Yeah. If you rotate it, then it will do the aspect ratio. The weird one. It'll keep the same aspect ratio of the way you have it rotated. Does that make sense? I can show you.
Vertically, vertical ratio,
Yeah, you know, I've never even tried. I don't even remember trying that before. So basically, see that?
Yeah.
So see my bug, Sergey? My icons are disappearing.
Yeah, I see. No idea why.
What I did, I broke it. I always break things, everybody. Sergey loves me for that.
I guess Jason's point is that the end users or customers would like to view it otherwise, like in the opposite aspect ratio. They would like to keep it like horizontal sometimes, I guess.
Yes. Depending on the object they want to zoom in and track. Sometimes it is a vertically standing object. So, but when they zoom in, it's always more like our ratio is like 4.3 something like that. It's more flat, so they want to zoom in like more with a vertical driven ratio.
Got it. Well, okay, got it. Well, like the first time we like came across our attention, but we will think about it.
Makes sense. All right, Andy, last one, silly question.
It's quite personal. Actually, I sent out an invitation about this webinar, and I put both of your pictures, and they ask, what's your age? they look the picture and feel handsome and cool, and what's their age? Like how many years?
We are middle-aged men.
So that's why I say it's easy question.
Yeah, we're middle-aged men. We're not too young and we're not too old. We're just right.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, Sergey and I together have been in this industry for what, Sergey? What, 35 years together, probably.
I've been in this before since like 13 years. 13 years.
Yeah. So I've been in it 20 years almost. So that's like 33 years between the two of us, right?
Oh.
Yeah. I'm 30, if it matters. So.
33.
Sure.
35.
38.
38. That's right. Yeah, and
30 something.
I'm 41.
Ah, okay.
I'm an old man. I used to be in my 30s.
So I'm very young and very beautiful.
All right. Any other questions? Well, we can do one more. I mean, if anybody's got a real, but we're a little bit over our hour. It's 10 o'clock in Texas, PM time.
Oh.
That's all right. I'm having fun.
Yeah, if there's no, I have another one.
All right, Jason. Last one.
Yeah,
Jason?
yeah. It's also about the notification panel on the right hand side. Like when we are doing motion detection right now, right? So there will be a snapshot right there showing if there's motion or not. So if we extended the notification panel larger, do we plan on making the snapshot larger so that the user can just see the notification panel, see the snapshot, and decide whether that motion event is what I'm looking for, instead of going to the archive to view it? We just extend the snapshots right there.
Like Sergey said, I mean, the notifications panel is going to be have some new UX coming up, so I'm sure.
So for the motions as well.
Yeah, it's also for motion. Yeah, it's also for, it's not only for analytics, it's also for the motion as well. It will be like better.
Yeah,
and for bookmarks and for motion and for analytic events, it will be the same.
Yeah.
Engine.
Yeah, look at it though, Jason. If you guys look at it, it's the same style as the objects tab, right? The only thing that's missing is the metadata tags and everything, right? So if you look at the way that we went going back to like one of the original questions we had was simplicity, like how do we keep it simple? The same UX mechanics are used for very similar things, right? So if the objects part of it's going to be vastly improved, then the rest of it will come along with it, right? So it's a right panel redesign, right?
Got it.
What we call the notifications panel right now, right? Is being redone. So
that would be cool. That would be really cool. Yeah. It's all about finding the footage in a faster way. Yeah, that would be great.
All right. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending our Ask NX Anything. We plan on doing we plan on doing these about once a month or so, especially during COVID, because we like to hear. In the past, we used to go to conferences and events and hear from different people. This is a really good way for us to keep in contact with you guys out there. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time today. If you have any questions or sales questions or development questions or whatever, sales questions go to Andy and Jason. Even technical questions can go to Andy and Jason in your region. And also on support.networkoffice.com. Feel free to join the community. We have a lot of people who are posting there, and there's a lot of good conversations going on there. And we're even sharing kind of early prototypes of different designs for the desktop client improvements, so you guys can give feedback, right, on stuff before it even gets developed. So become a part of our community. And thank you very much. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Jason.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Sergey. Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
See you guys.
Everyone, take care. Yeah.
Thanks, Sergey.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon.